attention to anything going on as far as the shipyard crisis. I think that everybody pretty much knows about that and what's taking place with the economy. But I wanted to talk about something that I'm not hearing a lot about, but it is, however, really important right now. And it's been laying on my heart to say, so I'm gonna go ahead and cut to the chase. So if you have children, now would be a very good time, if you have children, to start really becoming more vigilant as a parent. Because what's getting ready to overtake a lot of parents and the culture that we live in is becoming one where children are becoming desensitized to immorality. I have never seen kids that really don't have any type of understanding of boundaries, but yet here we are. We're at a point right now where children do not have boundaries anymore, and the things and the landmarks of the ancient that used to exist, they are no more. So we have a lot of young people that don't see any danger. Death to them is, for a lack of a better word, transitory, as our Fed has called inflation, or rather temporary. Sin is for play, and they are getting caught up into things that's above their pay grade. They are getting entangled in things that's above their belt level. They are battling entities that are black belts, and they just started the first week of karate school. I want to admonish every parent today to look through their child's phone. I'm not saying that there's anything that you're going to see specifically, but don't be so far removed from what your child is doing that you don't check. We're in a generation right now where the kids are really raising themselves, and I would say they're raising themselves, but in all reality, they're being raised by Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, and I get it. I understand that parents are tired, and many households are single-family households, and all of this is by design. Sad to say, all of this is engineered, along with so many other things, but I will talk about that in another video. We got one mandate. We have one purpose here on this earth. Your purpose is not to go and be rich. Your purpose is not to make money. Your purpose is, you have a mandate. If you were elected and selected by God to have a child, that is your first mandate. When you fail there, you've fallen. You have fallen. And you got to throw everything at it that you can, because these kids are falling. They are falling. There is no way that these children should be fighting off mama's boyfriends. There's no reason why they should be enduring a lot of the things that they're dealing with. You know, we talk about bullying, but I think that that's only the tip of the iceberg. I think that there is so much more to what these kids are experiencing right now. Pardon me, I'm driving, so that's why I'm not looking at the camera. There is so much that these kids are not getting. And there's only one place that they can get it from. And they have to get it from their parents. It is of the utmost importance that you are there. Not just physically there, but there as in you're there mentally. You check on them. You ask questions. Did anybody touch you? Did anybody bother you? Who is... And I'm going to tell you something. These kids nowadays, they don't talk. They don't talk. But I tell you what do talk, that phone talks. And every one of you parents have your child a phone. You have your child a phone. You have your child a tablet. You have your child some type of device. And truth be told, they don't need it. They listen to the device more than they listen to you. And this should not be so. I'm a firm believer that what's coming, as parents, we have got to prepare these kids for what's coming. It's going to sweep them. And, you know, us parents that are in our, 30s, 40s, some in the 50s, they don't want you. Truth be told, they don't want you. These people have plans for your kids. I'm going to be for real. Because you know what? I'm tired of people placating. People are placating and they pussyfooting around what the real issues are. And when it comes to kids, I don't play about that. I don't play about that. These people are trying... They try everything. Let me a little bit of lipstick on because I'm looking kind of dry. I'm looking kind of dry. Woo, child. I wrestled with talking about this because how do you tell people, this is a generation of people and parents that don't want nobody to tell them about their kids. But when their children are on drugs, or when they're in a gang, or when they're involved in activities that they're like, oh my goodness, what happened? They're such a good kid, and they're selling it out of your house, or, they got people in your house, then you want help. When in all reality, it is better to be proactive than to be reactive. And that's something that parents are not doing nowadays. Everybody is chasing a bag. And I get it. You gotta, you don't work, you don't eat. But I know God provides. And I don't care if he got to rain chicken out of the sky. I don't care if rotisserie chicken have to fall out of the sky. My house gonna eat. And I know what it is to be hungry, but I'm going to be quite honest with people. A lot of this is not just eating. A lot of this is not just surviving. A lot of this is trying to do it for the book, and trying to do it for the gram, and trying to do it for Twitter and for likes. And your kids are failing. And I ain't talking about failing school, because that's institutionalized anyway. I'm talking about these kids are failing because they don't know how to live. They are going through life. They are going through school. They don't know what it takes. And sometimes if you're doing all of that at work and you're working double shifts and you're trying to do all you can to make ends meet, sometimes you need to show your kids what it takes. How does that meal get on that plate? What does it cost to pay your utility bill? These kids don't know. They don't know. They are completely oblivious to what it takes. And when this thing drops and the economy tanks, because it's going to happen, it's going to do what it do. Get what you got to get now. Get what you got to get. You know, everything is like building blocks. And if you play Jenga, you know if you pull one wrong block, the whole tower is going to fall. That's how this is going to fall. And these kids are not prepared to be without. And some kids are prepared because they've been struggling anyway. But where the deficit is that they are lacking character. These kids lack morals. They don't have limits. You know, they look at danger and they don't see anything wrong. They've played Grand Theft Auto for so long. Seeing somebody dead, you know, what's it to me? What? Our children are our most prized possession. Making sure that we are good stewards of the souls of our children until they can make decisions for themselves is our mandate. That's the real mandate. That's the real mandate. That's what we should really be paying attention to. You know, stop giving your child freedom. Who pays the bills? Whose house is it? Whose house is it? But see, the problem is your kids know so much about what you do. You cannot be an authoritative figure with them because you don't walk it like you talk it. You saying one thing, but you doing another. You tell them, don't smoke. You tell them, don't do drugs. You tell them, don't be out here with these boys. Don't be out here with them girls. But what you do? I don't mean no harm. The kids follow example. And some things you got to cut out of your life as a parent to show them mama changed. Daddy changed. Daddy's not out in the street all night, all hours of the night. Because how you going to tell Jeremy he can't hang out with his friends all night long, but you do it? Well, I'm grown. And I'm 16. I'm 17. Then you got to bust them in their gut. You got to karate chop them in their throat because they squaring up at you. Something that you should have did when they were a lot younger. Everything is about building blocks. And these kids are lacking the building blocks. You can't let that phone and that tablet babysit them kids. Cut it off. Ain't your mama, but I don't mean no harm. I don't mean no harm. But YouTube ain't the YouTube and Google and the Zuckerberg crew ain't the ones that need to be raising your kids, because these kids are lost. You know, it took me a minute to realize that I was a millennial. I didn't even know what that was. I gotta laugh about it. But and then, like, you know, you got, like, I guess it's Z and Generation Alpha. You know what I call them? Generation Lost. They are Generation Lost. And the world is scooping these kids up, snatching them up. He ain't got much to do. because he don't have no opposition. The devil don't have no opposition. He doesn't have any pushback. There's no fight. But everybody's saying they love their kids. You love them, you got to fight for them. You have to fight for them. It's going to mean sleepless nights. It's going to mean, it's more than just getting up going to work. And that's important. But some point in time, you got to say, you know what? That job going to be there. And it will. And guess what? Those people will fire you tomorrow and won't think no more about you. So you better start thinking about your family. You better start thinking about the seeds that's being sown now. I'm giving advice. I'm taking it too. This is a word for myself as well, not just you. So this is not a moment of condemnation. This is a moment of we need to start tightening some stuff up. You know when you got a sweater, I don't know if people wear sweaters no more. I mean, I wear sweaters, but I don't know like what these people wear no more. But you know, like if you had a sweater and you got like, it's old, and like you get like a little thread on it, like a piece of the yarn kind of starts undoing. And the last thing you want is for somebody to pull that string, because your whole sweater gonna come undone. You're gonna see it just come right apart. That's what this is like. You pull one string, and the whole thing's gonna come apart. We don't want that. I don't think any parent wants that for their kids. We want what's best for them. But sometimes what you give your children can't be material. These kids got materials. They got iPhones, they got iPads, they got tablets, they got Bose sound systems, they got JBL headsets, and what PlayStation 5. What they don't got? What is it they don't have? But they're still out here doing the same things, and the generation is worse. The children are worse. The spirits on these kids is worse. It's heavy. And these children are dealing with things that they are not prepared for. And yes, it was bad in decades before. It was. It was bad in generations before. It was. But not a lot of people was talking about it. But sometimes somebody had a praying grandmama. Sometimes somebody had a praying mama. I thank God for my mama saying no. I thank God for the time she said no. And it was all the time. All the time. It was all the time she said no. But there are things that I didn't have to pick up that a lot of people picked up, and things that happened to a lot of people that didn't happen to me. And I'm going to leave that at that. That happened to a lot of people, and experiences and situations that kids my age when I was growing up were in, that was above their pay grade. These kids ain't ready for this. They're not ready to be making decisions about their bodies. I said it. And I'm going to stand on it. They are children. And they are being made to become grown before their time. Yes, children need responsibility. But they don't have that. These kids, the parents expect absolutely nothing from them. You know, Jaquan is failing every class. But yet, you went out there and got him some Jordans. Stop it. But you get mad because the teacher calls you and tells you what he ain't gonna do, what he's not doing, and he ain't gonna make it. And you want her to pull a water to wine miracle so he can pass. We need to stop it. You can be a single mom. My mother was a single mother. She knew how to say no. And it's not the fact that it wasn't hard, but you got to be a little bit more harder. You've got to be a little tougher. Because these kids are walking around here, they're aimless. They ain't got no fear. And people that are fearless, they are liable and they are willing to do anything. They don't have a conscience. They don't have a conscience. It's our job to be the standard. You can't look to celebrities. That ain't their child. They are not a role model for your children. If anything, they are to show you what not to do. We can't allow any and everybody in our house, around our children. We are the first line of defense for our kids. And every time you hear about something happening, it's always somebody that them kids knew. It don't be no weird person, no stranger. The devil don't use nobody you don't know. He uses people familiar. And because we do not take the time to vet people. Oh, well, they just come and pick them up. It's all right. They can spend the night. Stop that spending the night. Shouldn't be no spending the night. Stop your kids spending the night, because that's when stuff happens. It happens. Baby, 2 and 3 years old. What they spending the night for? What they gonna do spending the night? And then you don't realize it until your child's behavior becomes weird. And you're looking like, what's going on? What's happening? What's wrong with my child? They was not like this before. Well, think back. Think back. Take a minute. Just take a moment and think back. My child was like this. They was like that. They was like this. Always well behaved. They had little issues, little act up, little flare ups. But, and then all of a sudden, their behavior just got strange. And then they don't want to talk to me. They hoard up in their room. They don't want to be around nobody. What's wrong with my baby? We as parents better start being self-reflective and proactive. And that's all I want to say. I got some more to say, but I ain't going to say it now because I got stuff to do. But I love children. They worrisome. I'm going to tell you the truth. Let me tell you something. Everybody, here's my little tip. Here's my pearl of wisdom. Everybody that's claiming they love your children, that's claiming that they love kids so much, watch them. You'll thank me later. You will thank me later. Watch people that say they love kids so much, always pulling after your child, always pulling after your baby, always volunteering to watch them. Watch them. In this hour, you got to have total spiritual discernment. Because they're coming for your kids. They got you because you're going here and you're going there and you're working here and you're working there. They got you busy. So the best way to get the kids is get the parents distracted, get them out of the home, get them away from the situation, let the kids be uncovered. No supervision. And they are sitting duck. I mean, this is how hunting works. That's how hunting goes. Even in nature, even for hunters. You know, it's easier to get an animal when they isolated by themselves. If it's a whole lot of them together, you got a harder time. But if I can get you isolated, that's warfare. That's warfare. So as parents, we have to do our due diligence to protect our kids. The government is not going to protect your child. Shoot, half the people you know ain't going to protect your child. So it's your job. That is your mandate. That's all I wanted to say today. That's the end. If you watched it to this point, thank you for listening. I ain't trying to holler at nobody or yell at nobody. And I'm not putting anybody down. But we got work to do. And we got a short time to do it in. I mean, midnight's coming. And it's 11:55. So we got a lot to get done in a short amount of time to do it. But with God, all things are possible. So I hope that this blessed you. I hope that this helped you think. You know, all I can do is plant the seed. God will provide the increase. So you have a blessed day. And thank you so much for listening. This is Chandra with the Love.